Welcome back to my channel USA Liberty World Coin. Today, we're taking a closer look at a coin that most people would never think twice about. Maybe you've seen one sitting at the bottom of a junk drawer, mixed into old pocket change, or tossed into a dusty coin jar in the corner of the house. Let's get started. The 1979 USA Susan B. Anthony dollar coin is one of those coins that often looks rough, scratched, faded, dirty, and completely ordinary. A lot of people ignore it because it doesn't shine like silver and it doesn't look old enough to be valuable. But here, the surprising part. Some of these worn-looking coins have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. And today we're going to talk about why this strange little dollar coin still has real value and why collectors continue searching for it after all these years. Back in 1979, the United States introduced the Susan B. Anthony dollar coin to honor one of the most important women in American history. Susan B. Anthony was a major leader in the fight for women's rights and women's voting rights in America, and this coin became the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real woman instead of a symbolic figure. The government hoped the coin would become popular for everyday use, but people quickly noticed a problem. The coin was almost the same size and color as the quarter, so many Americans confused the two. Because of that confusion, the coin never became widely loved in circulation. Millions were spent, millions were produced, and many eventually ended up forgotten in storage boxes, cash drawers, piggy banks, and old family collections. That forgotten history is part of what makes this coin so interesting today. When you first look at a 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar, it probably doesn't look impressive at all. Most examples are covered in scratches from years of circulation. Some are dark around the edges, while others have tiny dents and worn surfaces from being passed from hand to hand for decades. But collectors know something important that casual people often miss. Even an ugly coin can still have real value. The key is knowing what details to check. Start by looking at the date, which should say 1979. Then check the mint mark near the shoulder area of Susan B. Anthony. You might see a small P, D, or S, representing Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Those little letters can make a huge difference in value depending on rarity and condition. One of the most famous varieties from 1979 is the 1979 P wide rim variety, sometimes called the near-date version. On this coin, the date appears much closer to the rim compared to the normal version. At first glance, it's easy to miss, especially on a dirty or worn coin, but collectors pay serious attention to this detail. Some circulated examples have sold for around $850 when they were identified correctly, and stronger examples in excellent condition have reached prices near $1,300. That's a huge surprise for a coin that many people once treated like spare change. Imagine finding one of these sitting unnoticed in an old jar for years, while its value quietly increased over time. Another reason this coin attracts attention is because of high-grade mint state examples. Coins that were never heavily used and still have sharp details can become extremely desirable to collectors. Even though millions were made, truly clean examples without major damage are harder to find than most people think. A strong 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar with beautiful surfaces and clear details has been known to reach values around $2,100 or even $3,400, depending on grading and rarity. Professional grading companies carefully inspect these coins under magnification, and small differences in quality can change the value dramatically. That's why two coins that look almost identical to normal people can end up having completely different prices in the collector market. There are also proof versions of the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar that were specially made for collectors. These proof coins usually came from the San Francisco Mint and were struck with extra care to create mirror-like surfaces and sharper details. Some proof varieties contain special characteristics that collectors aggressively hunt for, especially if the coin has strong eye appeal or rare features. In rare situations, top-quality examples have pushed values toward $4,700 or even higher at auctions. That number shocks people because they never expect a modern-looking dollar coin to carry that kind of price tag. But this hobby is full of surprises, and the Susan B. Anthony dollar continues proving that appearance alone does not decide value. One of the biggest mistakes people make after discovering an old coin is cleaning it. A coin may look dirty, dull, or discolored, but cleaning it can actually destroy collector value in seconds. Many beginners try polishing the surface to make the coin shiny again, but collectors usually prefer original surfaces even when they look old or worn. Cleaning leaves tiny scratches and unnatural shine that experts can spot immediately. So if you ever find a 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar that seems unusual, the best thing you can do is leave it exactly as it is. Put it in a soft holder, keep it dry, and inspect the details carefully under good lighting. Even a scratched and ugly coin can still have real value if it's the right variety or condition. What makes this coin fascinating is the way it hides in plain sight. It doesn't look rare. It doesn't look expensive. It looks like something most people would spend without thinking twice. Yet collectors continue paying strong money for the right examples because history, condition, mint marks, and small design differences matter more than appearance alone. So the next time you come across a 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar coin, don't ignore it too quickly just because it looks worn out or damaged from years of use. Check the date, inspect the rim, look for the mint mark, and remember that this coin has real value. Some examples have sold for hundreds, others for thousands, and the right one could surprise you completely. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep checking your change because you never know what treasure might already be sitting in your pocket. Next coin, the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar coin usually doesn't make a strong first impression. Most examples look worn down, faded, scratched across the surface, and dull from years of circulation. The edges are often damaged from being tossed into cash registers, drawers, and jars with other loose coins. In many cases, the coin develops dark spots or uneven color that makes it appear cheap and unimportant. Because of that rough appearance, most people assume it has no real value and treat it like ordinary pocket change. But collectors tend to look at this coin differently. Underneath the worn metal and damaged surfaces, the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar carries a unique history and a collector market that still gives certain examples surprisingly strong value today. One reason this coin gets overlooked so often is because it never became popular in everyday American commerce. The United States Mint introduced the Susan B. Anthony dollar in 1979 as a modern replacement for larger dollar coins used in previous decades. The design honored Susan B. Anthony, one of the most influential leaders in the American women's rights movement, making it the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real woman from American history. But despite the historical importance, the public had trouble accepting the coin because it closely resembled the quarter in both size and color. People confused the two constantly, and businesses struggled with the change. As a result, millions of these coins ended up stored away rather than actively used, and today many remain hidden in old collections and forgotten containers across the country. When examining a 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar, the first thing collectors check is the mint mark. Near Susan B. Anthony's shoulder, you may notice a small letter showing where the coin was produced. A P means Philadelphia, a D means Denver, and an S means San Francisco. Each mint produced different quantities, and collector demand varies depending on the version and condition. The coin itself features Anthony's portrait on the front, while the reverse displays an eagle landing on the moon, a design inspired by the Apollo 11 mission imagery originally used on the Eisenhower dollar. Even though millions were minted, Collectors continue searching for cleaner examples because many surviving coins were heavily circulated and damaged over time. Condition plays a major role in determining value, but one of the interesting things about this coin is that even circulated examples can still attract attention. A coin with visible wear, scratches, and faded surfaces may still carry collector interest if the details remain strong and the coin avoids severe damage. Some circulated 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollars have sold around $920 depending on quality and demand. That surprises many people because they expect worn coins to be worthless. In reality, collectors understand that older circulation pieces often survive decades of use, and finding examples with decent eye appeal becomes harder as time passes. This is why even imperfect coins can still hold strong value in the market. Higher-grade examples become much more serious in price. Coins that avoided heavy circulation and still retain sharp details, strong luster, and cleaner surfaces are far more desirable to collectors. When graded professionally, certain 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollars have reached values around $1,650 or even $2,750, depending on rarity and preservation. Small details matter greatly during grading. Tiny marks, discoloration, or wear patterns can affect the final grade and dramatically change the market value. To casual viewers, these differences may seem insignificant, but experienced collectors carefully study every visible feature under magnification, because condition is one of the biggest drivers behind modern coin prices. Proof versions from the San Francisco Mint add another layer of collector demand. These coins were specially produced with mirror-like finishes and sharper strikes intended for collectors rather than circulation. Some proof examples remain in outstanding condition decades later, especially when preserved properly in original packaging. Strong proof coins with exceptional quality have sold for around $3,850, and in rare situations even reached $4,900 or more at auction. Those numbers sound unbelievable to people who only see the coin as an ordinary dollar, but the collector market often rewards rarity, preservation, and eye appeal in ways the average person never expects. The important thing to remember is that this coin carries strong value under the right circumstances. One mistake that can instantly reduce collector value is cleaning the coin. Many people think removing dirt or dark color will improve appearance and increase price, but collectors usually prefer coins with original surfaces. Cleaning often leaves tiny hairline scratches and unnatural shine that grading experts can detect immediately. Even gentle polishing can damage the surface permanently and lower the value significantly. If you find a 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar that seems interesting, it is always safer to leave it exactly as it is. Store it carefully, examine the details under good lighting, and compare the mint marks and condition before making assumptions about value. Sometimes the roughest-looking coins end up being far more important than expected. What makes the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar fascinating is how easily it hides among ordinary chains while still carrying collector demand decades later. Most people glance at the coin for only a second before dismissing it because of its worn appearance and common design. But collectors understand that value is not always connected to beauty. Historical significance, mint variations, condition, and survival rates all matter. A scratched and circulated coin may still hold real value, while a pristine example can reach thousands of dollars in the right market. So if you ever come across one of these dull-looking dollar coins sitting in an old box or forgotten collection, take a closer look before ignoring it. This coin still carries strong value, and the right example could end up being far more valuable than anyone around you realizes.